Hello, welcome to the Focus9 Warehouse Management System demonstration. Focus WMS is a cloud-based web solution that integrates multiple modules to provide a complete end-to-end solution for your business. We're going to cover a quick introduction about the Focus ERP system. Then I'm going to take you through a walkthrough of the warehouse management system. Let's get started with the Focus presentation. Here's our ERP, a complete web-based solution. Key features of the Focus ERP are its scalability and the configuration capabilities of the system. We have clients from across the globe, from small to medium enterprises, up to larger organizations. And we provide the complete end-to-end solution to our clients to meet their business needs with our customization capabilities. Here, as part of the Settings module, you can see different kinds of options that are available, which will let us customize the workflows, masters, and documents according to the client's needs. Our customization capabilities start right from the dashboard itself. You can see all the different kinds of dashboards that come by default with the system, but you can drag and drop any report for a custom dashboard experience. Let's quickly walk through the drag and drop customization of the dashboard, and then we'll jump into the warehouse management system. Here, you can see as part of the dashboard configuration the customization mode. You'll be able to add any other report which you'd like to have as part of the dashboard just by dragging and adjusting according to the requirement. This way, without having any technical knowledge, you can create different kinds of customization within the Focus ERP. So now, let's get into the Focus Warehouse Management System. The Focus WMS comes with a set of default masters: warehouse, ADR zone, aisle, rack, bins, and more. There are different kinds of masters which will let you create the warehouse in the system. However way your physical warehouse is set up, you can create your warehouse management system setup in the Focus ERP system. Let's first get started with the Focus Warehouse Master itself and see what fields are there to capture. Here, you can see as part of the Focus Warehouse Master, there are different kind of fields that you'd be capturing. If you need any other information, we can customize and add those fields for you. Once you've defined the warehouse, there are a couple other masters, which you can see, which will help you to configure the physical warehouse with the same hierarchy you have. Like the ADR would be linked to the warehouse, and then the zone is linked with the ADR. Aisle is linked to the zones, racks, as well as have the final entity as the bins. So for each of these, like the zone, what's all the information that we're capturing? We have the provision to capture different kinds of temperature requirements as part of the zones, in case you need to handle the SKUs as a part of the application. So you can even capture different temperature requirements. Similarly, let's see all the information that we'll be gathering at the bin definition level. While creating the bins, we have the provision to define the capacities. What quantity of a specific product goes into the bin, and you can define receiving and shipping flow for kinds of bins. And you can define the dimensions of the bins. So while placing and picking out the inventory, the system would track how much space is left over in the specific bin. Here you can see the different information that we're capturing, as well as the dimensions that you can define with respect to the specific bins. Finally, let's look at the SKU master, where we would be creating and defining different kinds of items. These items you can call products or SKUs. So based on the terminology, we can configure however you'd like to call these items. You have the ability to have multiple categories of products, which can be helpful for your reporting purposes. And when creating the products, you have the provisions to define different kinds of information that you can capture. You can have different kinds of characteristics, like size, weight, color, or if you wanted to maintain and manage your SKUs with a different unit of measurement. So once you have all the settings enabled in the system, the warehouse system will be ready to use. In order to define different kinds of workflows, we provide certain workflows as part of the WMS. But if you have any specific requirement, We can customize the WMS according to your needs. Here's some workflows which are part of the default mode. Here you can see part of the ASN flow, configured as your inventory inward process, which starts from a purchase order. So when you award the order to the supplier, you're going to share a purchase order in the Focus warehouse management system. Once the purchase order is created, whenever your supplier is shipping out the inventory, they can create a document. They can let you know how much of the inventory you're receiving, which you can input into the system called ASN, Advanced Shipment Note. Once you receive that advanced shipment note, you can assign it to the warehouse users. The warehouse users can use a handheld device with the Android app. Using this Android app, they'll be able to scan the inventory that they're receiving, scan the location where they're going to place the specific item, and receive the inventory into the system. Once they receive the inventory, the system is going to internally create the document called RTS. And once you receive the inventory, based on what you've received, you can even update your financials. If you have a QC process involved, we support the QC process as well from here. If you receive the inventory to a specific receiving floor, when you're going to move the inventory from the receiving floor to the internal warehouse bins, we can use the put away and put away confirmation documents to move the inventory into the internal warehouse bins. So this workflow is very flexible if you wanted to include any other document like purchase returns. Just by dragging and dropping, we can include those documents as part of the workflow, and apart from that, the workflow gives flexibility in multiple aspects. For example, let's say you've been given an order for a 100-unit quantity of a specific item, but the supplier only has 70 units available. In this particular case, the system will let you track how much of the inventory is still pending to be received on a specific order, and you can even follow up with your suppliers. And apart from that, we can even completely automate the process of creating the next document in the workflow by automating the process fields. Let's see how this process flow actually works by creating a purchase order. This is how our purchase orders look, and all of our documents look the same, making it easier for the user to have a similar user interface and user experience across all modules in the software. This makes it easier for users to learn and use the software. Here, you can see a list of purchase orders that are already created. If you wanted to create a new purchase order, click on the new icon, which will take you to the creation of the purchase order. And this purchase order can be imported, or you can even manually embed the order. You can import it from the Excel file or XML file, or any other format, and select the products that you'd like to give the order for. In case the unit of measurements aren't there, we can even enable that. If you have multiple prices that are defined, the system will dynamically pick the prices from the price book. So here, once we create the purchase order, you can see the order number 29 has been created. So the next step is when you're going to receive the inventory, the supplier is going to let you know the quantity of the inventory shipped. So let's say the supplier has limited inventory and it's only partially shipped. When you go to the ASN document, the system will show the pending purchase orders for the stock you haven't received yet. You can select this document clicking on Convert, where the system will load all the information that you already entered, and you just need to enter the missing information. We support multi-warehousing. If you have multiple warehouses, you can choose the warehouse where you're going to receive, and if there's a supplier PO number as a reference, you can even track that. And if it's a direct receipt, you can directly receive it into the internal warehouse. If it is a stage warehouse, you can receive it at the receiving floor. From there, you can use the put away and put away confirmation documents and enter the inventory for the internal warehouse fields. In this use case, we're going to receive the inventory partially so that we can see exactly how to receive and drag the purchase orders. Here you can see the document number 79 has been created. Let's go back and check the purchase orders. So when we go back to the purchase order, the system will show that purchase order 29 is still existing because we haven't received the inventory fully. There's still 30 units to be received. So here you can see the details of the purchase order on which you have yet to receive the 30 units. So now that we've created the ASN document, you can allocate this document to a specific user. Otherwise, the user would be able to self-assign on the handheld device. So here, there's an option called Allocate ASN Line, where we understand that the shipment could be huge, so it might not be possible for one user to receive it. So we support allocation of a single order to multiple users. You can even divide it into quantities, and you can assign if we have one user, or if you want the user to self-assign. They would be able to do that on the handheld device. Here you can see order number 79, and the user can load that order into the Warehouse app, which is an Android-based app. Then on the Warehouse handheld device, they'll be able to process this particular order and receive the inventory. So once the user logs and scans the product, the system will validate whether the particular product that he has received was part of the order or not. And finally, you have the provision to choose whether you're receiving the inventory fully, or if you wanted to send it to the QC process, you can set it as inspection. Out of the 70 units that you're receiving, if there's some amount that's damaged, you can even set the status as damaged, so that you can even process your returns. And if you're receiving the inventory and you have the inventory tracking through a lot number, you can even assign the lot numbers. If there are any expiry dates associated with these fields, you can even assign the expiry dates. Once you verify clicking on RTS, internally, the system will create the documents called RTS, which is going to update your inventory. We can go back and check the RTS document in the backend. This RTS document is your receiving tally sheet, which will actually update your inventory. Here you can see the RTS number 79 has been updated, and this is going to update your inventory into the warehouse, into the specific bins that you've selected. So here, you can see the details that you've entered, lot number, expiry date, and other information. Now that you've received the inventory, as a next step, you want to update the financials. When you go to the purchase invoice document, the system will show all the RTS documents for which you have and the invoicing. You can select one of the documents and update the financials. Based on the items that you have with your suppliers, you can make the payment to the suppliers after creating the invoice. So here we'll be selecting the respective GL account and select any financial tag. Update the purchase invoice, and the invoice will be sent as an email in case you want to send it to your suppliers. So once the purchase invoice is created, as a final step, the user can make the payment using the payment documents that are available in the system. As part of the payment document, the system will show all the pending bills. Users can select the pending document and make the payment, or if you wanted to create a payment document for multiple invoices, that can also be done. This updates the account payables, vendor ledger, and all related financial inventory reports. That completes our inward flow. Let's go back and check the outward process. How can we receive orders into the system, whether it's a phone order, walk-in order, or e-commerce order? How can we do the picking, packing, and shipping of warehouse orders? As part of the outward flow, we have the provision to define different kinds of process flows. This is the standard flow that we have as part of the warehouse management system. It all starts from a sales order. The sales order can be a manual order, a walk-in order, phone order, or coming through e-commerce. As part of the e-commerce integration, we have direct integration with Shopify as well as Amazon. So whenever the order is created, that order directly integrates into the sales order document. From there, you can generate a pick list. As part of the pick list, the warehouse supervisor will assign a specific location from where the inventory has to be picked up, and it will be assigned to a specific user. Once assigned, the user goes to the specific location for picking the SKUs. They'll scan the products, they'll scan the location or the bin from where they're picking the item, and move the inventory to the packaging area. At that time, they'll be processing using the mobile app, which internally creates a document called pick confirmation. After that, we have a concept called cartonization or palletization. Based on that, the inventory can be moved to the different boxes or pallets, do the packaging, generate the labels, print the labels, and stick the labels to the boxes. And finally, internally, the system will create a document called dispatch checklist. At this level, the inventory has been packed and it's ready for dispatch. And when the container arrives, or if there's a third-party carrier arriving for the picking of the inventory, the user is going to scan only the label that has been stuck on the pallet and ship out the order from the warehouse. There's a dispatch confirmation document received, and finally, inventory has been moved out of the warehouse. So now at this point, you can generate an invoice and update the account receivables as well. We can even generate the received documents as well. So let's see how this process flow actually works by creating a sales order. You may have noticed all our documents look similar. Let's create a new sales order. This can be a manual order, a walk-in order, or an e-commerce order, which will be directly integrated from your e-commerce platform. You can select the customer and select the warehouse where you're receiving the order. In the event you only have one warehouse, the warehouse setting is optional. Let's select the product, and based on the product selected, the system will pick the prices if you define them. So once the order is created, you can generate the pick list document. This pick list can be manually created. The warehouse supervisor will assign a specific location from where the stock is to be picked, but in case you want the system to generate it, we can even automate the process completely. So here, we're selecting the order that we've created, clicking on Load All the Details, and we're going to choose from the location where it has to be picked up. You can even move this to a different warehouse. Here, we're going to select the lot number, which lot of the product that we would like to pick, and after the lot, we're going to select the location and generate the pick list document. So once this pick list document is created, this can be allocated to your user, or the user would be able to assign this document to themselves. Here you can see, as part of the outward process, the pick list that we've created will be shown to the user. Here you can see the order that we just created. The user will be able to self-assign this and process it. While doing the picking, there are multiple options that are available. One is called group picking. The user can scan multiple documents and create a group pick so that the system will select the orders of a different customer or same customer of the product. The user can go and pick the multiple orders together and move to a packaging area, and the system will guide the user to do the packaging based on the products that are in that order. Similarly, it will allow the user to know the short picking. Like for instance, if in the system the inventory is shown, but when the user goes for picking inventory, it might not be available. In this scenario, they can switch to the short pick, and internally, the system will generate a stock reconciliation request. Apart from that, we have something called alternate pick, which will show all the bins where the particular item is available, so the user can pick from a different location, if the inventory is not available. Here you can see the product details. After scanning the location, or scanning the product, the system will validate whether that particular product is part of the particular order or not. In case the user's picking a wrong product, it's going to validate, and finally, scan all the other information. Clicking on Verify, it's going to generate a pick confirmation document. Here you can see there is a pick confirmation document created. And as the next step, we're going to do the palletization. The user is going to scan the products and place the products into the pallet and do the packing. We have the provision to define different pallets as well as boxes, and for each box, you can define the dimensions and enter the quantity and width by scanning, as well as weighing the product manually. You can even automate the process for defining the weight of each product. And once the packaging is done, you can generate a label, print the label, and stick the label to the packaging that you've done. Once this is done, clicking on Finish, it is going to create a dispatch request. As a final step, when the container arrives, the user is going to scan the dispatch labels that are stuck onto the boxes. Here you can see the system is not going to show any of the products which are part of this order because it's already packed. The user is going to scan the labels that are stuck to the boxes and finally ship out the inventory from the warehouse. At this level, the inventory has been moved out of the warehouse. You can observe the inventory has been moving from one location to another location. Finally, it's shipped out of the warehouse. This way, we can completely automate the outward process as well. And the system will guide you through the handheld device that's available to do the warehouse shipping, picking, packing, and dispatching processes. Focus9 comes with integration capabilities with shipping providers like UPS, FedEx, ShipStation, ShipHawk, and others using RESTful APIs. Once dispatching is done, if you wanted to generate the invoice, the system will show all the delivery notes for which you haven't generated the invoice, and the user can select one of the documents, and you can then enter them into the invoice. After that, based on the pay terms that you have with your customers, whenever you receive payment, you can create a receipt document. Our financials module is fully integrated with our warehouse management system, so you can track your financials. Let's walk through how you can generate the invoice and receive payment. Here you can see this particular document and generate an invoice. While generating the invoice, the system will capture the details and if there's any feedback that you can select. If it's a specific warehouse, all this information can be captured. This way, you can generate the invoice, and as a last step, when you're going to receive the payment, you can receive the payments using the receipt document. Here, the system will show the pending bills, or you can even select the customer, and the system's going to guide you through the payment process. Apart from the standard process, there are many other functionalities that are available as part of our warehouse management system. One of them is the auto-indenting process. For each of the products, you can define reorder levels, and based on the reorder levels, if any of the products is going below reorder level, the system is going to create an auto-indent and send it to the user for approval. Here you have the provision to send it and define a message as well. The user is going to get a notification, and we even have the ability to define a cutoff frequency in terms of the number of hours. If the user is not available, the system's not going to wait for the user. It can be moved to a different user for processing. This way, you can make sure that you maintain the required levels of inventory. There's another process for daily sales quantity. This is for maintaining your just-in-time inventory. We have another option where you have the complete bin strategy that can be defined for your warehouse management system. The items can be placed in the bins based on the category. You might have thousands of bins, but for each of the bins, you can define a category for the product as well. That way, the system will filter out and show only specific bins where you can place this item. Similarly, for one product, if different lot numbers are available, you can even define a strategy where only one specific lot number goes into the bin. That way, the user can increase the speed of processing more orders, blindly picking the products from that specific location, rather than keenly observing and checking the specific lot number. The same applies for two different attributes, like two different sizes when you're shipping out. If you want to have two different attributes that can't be clubbed in the same bin, you can even define these strategies. Apart from that, When shipping out, you can choose whether the items can be placed in the bins based on their locations, as well as whether the items can be picked from a past expiry, picked from partially filled bins first, and more kinds of settings that can be defined. We have complete palletization options available as part of the Focus9 warehouse management system. As a part of the app, we have different kinds of functionalities like cyclic counts, spot cyclic count, moving of this stock from one location to another location, or one bin to another bin. One important functionality that our clients use is the ability to show all the bins where an item is available just by scanning the product. Similarly, just by scanning the location, you'll know what are all the products that are there in that bin. So this can be very helpful for users as far as the warehouse management system. And you can print the labels, you can do the sales returns, purchase returns, everything using our handheld device. And when it comes to reporting, the Focus9 WMS will come with a number of reports which will give you all different types of insights. Right from your stock balances by warehouse, you can have fast-moving, slow-moving items, and bin-wise reports. You'll be able to track what items are there, in which bin, and at any point in time, you can track your inventories as well with Item Query, which is going to give you the complete snapshot of the product. Once you select and scan any product, it's going to give you the complete details of that particular product. Here you can see the product-related details. How much is the current stock available, what is the average rate, and how many sales orders need to be fulfilled. Based on your sales order quantity, purchase order quantity, and your current stock, as well as the reorder levels, it's going to calculate and show you the quantity to be ordered. Similarly, it'll show you the recent purchases, recent sales, balance by warehouse, balance by bins, and if you've defined pricing, all that information will be shown. We have stock details by bins report, which will show you stock details by different locations, as well as reorder-related reports, and many other reports which will help you with planning your inventory. Here you can see each of the bins, and all the stock inventory that's available. You can see the set of reports that are available. Apart from that, the system comes with setup dashboards, which you can backtrack and go to the extent of the reports. You can share it with different users, and you can customize and add any other report that you'd like to be part of the dashboard. This completes our Focus9 warehouse management system presentation. Whether you're using your own internal warehouse or a third-party company, Focus9 would be the right solution for you. Contact one of our product evangelists, and we'll be delighted to discuss the value and impact Focus9 WMS will bring to your business and address any questions if you have them. We look forward to providing you with an amazing experience on Focus9. Learn more at www.focussoftnet.us or call us at 908-239-6275.